The thing you have to understand about Die Hard 3 is that it's the third in the series. It goes 1, 2, 3, and then after that there were 4 and 5, but there shouldn't have been. I mean, it's not the first movie, but it's about as good as the franchise ever got after that first installment. Considering it is a perfect 80s action movie, it's a perfect buddy cop movie. This being said, it's not at all a Die Hard movie by any stretch of the imagination. Now, what's really amazing is that, like the 3 other sequels, nobody wanted to make this movie. And when I say that, I mean nobody ever sat down and said, "Hey Tom, what? I got a really great idea for another Die Hard movie." I mean, clearly the conversation went more along the lines of, "Hey Tom, what? Remember how much money we made off the first 2 Die Hard movies? Yeah? Want to make a new one? Sure." See, because there was no concept here. They just knew that they wanted to make a Die Hard movie. In fact, they just chose whatever idea was in front of them, which happened to be the script for the next Lethal Weapon movie, which wasn't going to happen. What's odd about this is that the product is fantastic, and I love it. So Die Hard with a Vengeance stars Mel Gibson and Danny Glover. Mad Max stars Mel Gibson, Frank Sinatra, nope, Bruce Willis and Samuel L. Jackson. Now, Die Hard 3 sees Bruce Willis reprising his role as John McClane, and oh my god, he is glorious. I mean, look at him when he still had hair. Jesus, what a specimen. Anyway, Die Hard 3 stars Bruce Willis reprising his role as John McClane for what's really the last time.
It's not you.
And this time, he has a huge headache.
Very bad headache, and my head is not.
So the NYPD has McClane unconscious in the back of this truck, and he wakes up, and there's your opening shot. Wait, I lied. First, we see a bunch of buildings in New York, sector somewhere in the city, and then everything explodes. Then the NYPD has John McClane in the back of this truck, and he wakes up from being unconscious, and that's your opening shot. So, like, this bomb goes off in New York City, so the NYPD kidnaps McClane, essentially, and demand that he single-handedly stop this terrorist attack. We love the NYPD. McClane is sent into the projects wearing a sign with a couple words that I can't say, but maybe, you know, McClane hates him, you know?
Oh.
So anyway, while all this is going on, local racist Samuel L. Jackson is teaching his kids how much he hates guys who wear polo shirts and cargo shorts, and also their cell phones on their belt in one of those cases, if you know what I'm talking about. So naturally, Sam J decides when he sees McClane about to get knifed in front of his store, that those two are now best friends.
He looked like a friend of mine.
I mean, this movie's pretty much got everything between truck drivers who know the order of all of the presidents, subways being filled with water. That's not where the water goes, silly. However, I think the most important part of the mayhem that ensues after the Game of Simon Says is this part where McClane sends these 2 cops to this school where there are a bunch of kids and they think that this bomb is going to go off. No, it does turn out to be corn syrup, but that's beside the point. And the reason I think this is so important is because I've looked high and low throughout the Die Hard franchise, and this is the only thing that justifies this statement that Bruce Willis made when asked how he thought John McClane should die.
It should be in the help of saving young kids.
Not that I doubt that John McClane would save some kids if given the opportunity. If he was around some kids who were going to die and he had the opportunity to stop it, that he wouldn't. And he's never turned on a camera and screamed, "I hate kids and I hope they all die a horrible, long, painful death." But the beauty of the character is really that he doesn't go out of his way to really save anybody. He's a in the wrong place at the wrong time kind of guy.
The same shit happened to the same guy twice.
He just has these really extreme circumstances against him, and for that matter, this is the only time throughout the entire franchise that I can pinpoint where he saves kids who are not his own. I mean, not that he actually saved them. I mean, he sent the 2 no-name cops in there while he was busy negotiating aspirin strapped to a bomb, and also, it wasn't even really a bomb in the school, it was just corn syrup. Also, speaking of Frozone, isn't it cool that that one scene of Sam Jackson in the subway is parodied in The Incredibles with this scene, which I never realized were the same two scenes until I watched the movies back to back. Don't ask why. Look, the point is, I'm sure McClane makes fists with his toes at some point, and I'm sure he also says,
"Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker."
well, it isn't Christmas.
Ho, ho, ho.
But really, the whole movie is just brilliant. Great buddy cop movie, great Lethal Weapon movie, not a Die Hard movie. But it is the closest thing that the sequels have ever come to that first one. And I think that we need to point that out. And that's the greatest Die Hard sequel of all time.
Cool cat.